Liverpool and Arne Slot will win the lot this season. And yes, I'm talking Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. People do not talk about the rotating options that Liverpool have. They have a world-class front line. They have Salah, they have Jota, they have Diaz, but they can rotate them with Nunez, with Gakpo, and even Chiesa if he can refine his form. Coming from myself, as a Newcastle fan, it pains me to say it, but later in the video I will talk how they will overturn their deficit against Spurs in the Carabao Cup and unfortunately beat Newcastle in the final. In terms of games like the Brentford one, that is what wins you leagues. It looked like they were going to draw and get a point, but Nunez and Liverpool found a way and they scored 2 goals late on to win the game and take the 3 points back to Anfield. When you look at all the title winning teams from the last few years, you have to just say Manchester City for the past 4 seasons, they have always found a way and found important late goals at important times. Fergie time. It was called Fergie time for a reason. Manchester United in their successful period under Sir Alex Ferguson between 1992 and 2013, they scored a whopping 81 goals after the 90th minute, which was nearly 5% of the goals that they scored in the Premier League era under Sir Alex Ferguson. Just take a look at Liverpool's competitors too. They are all dropping points for absolute fun. And then Liverpool, they had a crisis, and this was drawing games against Manchester United and Nottingham Forest, who are having a fantastic season by the way. But that is no crisis compared to what other teams are doing at the moment. At the moment, in the Premier League, they are the only genuinely world-class team. Liverpool have an abundance of options. I'm not just talking about the obvious ones like Trent, like Salah and like Van Dijk. They have World Cup winners in that team who know how to handle pressure like Alexis McAllister and young wonder talents like Dominic Szoboszlai. In terms of the Champions League, let's just take a look a minute at how Liverpool are doing. They have played 7 games. They have won 7 games. They have scored 15 goals and they have conceded just 2. Nobody in Europe can live with them at the minute. And in this new Champions League format, they are steamrolling it. Look at the teams they've played too. It's not like they've had an easy ride. They've beat Real Madrid. They have beat Bayer Leverkusen. They have beat Lille, who were on a 21 game unbeaten run, which was the longest in Europe at the time. And Bayer Leverkusen have lost 1 game in like a season and a half in the Bundesliga. They have been absolutely superb. Don't get me wrong, there are teams in the Champions League that have started poorly, like Manchester City, like Real Madrid, like PSG. However, I don't see PSG coming back from it. But teams like Real Madrid and Man City, with the quality that they have, they always have a chance. But the main threat to Liverpool in the Champions League this season is Inter Milan. Inter Milan are flying at the moment. Their defence is rock solid, and we know from previous years they have been up there with the very best teams in Europe, losing in the final to Manchester City just a couple of years ago. Their defence is unreal. They have outstanding players like Bastoni, and they have, in my opinion, the best left wing back in the whole of the world in Federico Di Marco. I must say though, I do not think they will have the quality to beat Liverpool. Liverpool at this moment in time, their quality just surpasses every team in the competition. Look at games last night, like against Lille. They don't have to play particularly well to win the game. They just know how to get the job done. Now we move on to the Carabao Cup. They are already in the semi-finals, and yes, they did lose to Spurs 1-0 in the first leg, but it wasn't like they played particularly poorly. They had 14 shots, they just could not find the back of the net. But when they go back to Anfield, they will absolutely destroy Tottenham, mark my words. Like, let's be real, Spurs couldn't even beat Tamworth in 90 minutes, so I don't think they're going to be beating Liverpool or getting a decent result away from home. They will play Newcastle or Arsenal in the final. And yes, I do say or Arsenal, because I know I'm not being hopeful as a Newcastle fan, but after results like the one at the weekend, it doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. And no matter what people say, Arsenal have the quality to turn any game around. However, one thing I will say is, if it is Newcastle, which most people think it will be, and they do play them in the final, Newcastle's record against Liverpool, as much as I hate to say it, is absolutely shocking. Newcastle have not beaten Liverpool since 2015, and that was before Klopp even took over. And Arsenal beating them? Not a chance. Stoke Arsenal FC do not have a prayer, unfortunately, if they play Liverpool in the final. Their corners ain't going to work against the height and the strength of players like Van Dijk and Konate. So yeah, for me, again, it's a Liverpool win, unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say it. Now moving on to the FA Cup, and yes, we are in the early phases of that competition, but when you look at the facts, in the next round, they have Plymouth. And let's be real, they can rotate their squad. They have the rotations we spoke of earlier. They have other players as well, like Connor Bradley, who is an absolute wonderful talent. They have Tsimikas at left back. They have Kelleher, who's the best number 2 in the Premier League. So they're not going to struggle to beat Plymouth, and then that is going to be them in the 5th round. Look, yes, there is a long way to go in the Premier League. But let's be realistic. Unless Liverpool get ridiculously complacent, or they lose some players before the end of the January transfer market, which is not going to happen, they're pretty much a nail on to win the league. I might be being completely mad by saying Liverpool are going to win the quadruple, but I don't think I am. Please guys, let me know in the comments who you think can stop Liverpool from winning every single trophy there is this season. Now, if you wouldn't mind to like the video and drop a sub on the channel for all the footy content, that is always appreciated. I appreciate your support. Come here and join the footy fam. But most importantly guys, have a beautiful day. Peace!